and welcome to Amazing Women in E-Commerce Online. My name is Ruthie Berber, and I'm the Program Director here at AWIE. I'm the Senior Community Manager of Yotpo. If this is your first event with us, I'll give a brief overview of who we are. Amazing Women in E-Commerce, or AWIE for short, is an initiative dedicated to recognizing the women in e-commerce who are crushing it in our industry, while investing in the next generation of women leaders by supporting Girls Inc. and other local charities. AWIE is presented by Yotpo, an e-commerce marketing platform that helps brands of all sizes strengthen their relationships with consumers through loyalty, SMS marketing, reviews, subscriptions, and more. Now, before we get started, I do just want to take a moment to thank our event sponsors, Listrak, Ametria, Shopify, Meta, and UPS. All of their sponsorship contributions were donated generously and directly to Girls Inc. All right, let's talk community. So if you're joining us live and you want to talk about the event on social media, please use the hashtag Women in Ecom with 2 M's. You can also tag us at Women in Ecom and at Yotpo, and we will happily repost you. If you haven't joined yet, we have a super active Amazing Women in E-Commerce community on Slack. You can access this from womeninicom.com or through the link in the chat. And finally, our call for nominations for the next class of AWIE honorees is now open. So you can nominate a woman who inspires you, or even yourself, since not enough women are their own champions, at womeninicom.com/nominate, and Yotpo will donate $5 for every nomination we receive. And now, a quick rundown of AWIE by the numbers. So 2018 is the year that we launched AWIE. We sought out nominations to recognize visionary women who were shaping the e-commerce space, and since then it's really evolved to its own standalone program. 10,000 is the number of amazing women who have been nominated to date, not including this round. 117 is the number of AWIE honorees that we've had over the past 5 years, and this one we're really proud of. Over $120,000 is the amount of money that we've been able to raise for Girls Inc. through AWIE, not including all of the money that we're raising right now through nominations. And finally, 1,900, really 2,000, is the number of members we have in our AWIE community on Slack, and it's growing every day. Speaking of growing, AWIE has grown to be so much more than an annual recognition of amazing women in our industry. As I mentioned, our Slack community in the last slide, it's grown into an active, vibrant community of women all over the world, sharing advice, planning meetups, finding new talent and opportunities, and much more. We also hold events like the one you're at today throughout the year, LinkedIn Live events where we talk to amazing women brands about their top strategies and tips. We have offline events like our recent happy hours in New Zealand, London, and LA, where AWIE's just got together to connect, learn, and have fun IRL. And we're also always looking for ways to highlight the amazing women in our community, whether it's through AMAs on our Slack community or through Q&As and profiles and features on our blog. All right, quickly have a look at some of our amazing honorees throughout the years. Since 2018 to 2022, you'll actually be hearing from some of them today, and you can check out all of their profiles on the website. So do make sure that you are nominating someone amazing. Nominations will be open through end of year, and with each nomination, you'll be supporting Girls Inc. because, as I mentioned, Yotpo will be donating $5 on behalf of every nomination we receive. Okay, now that's enough for me. Let's kick things off. We have a really packed, really exciting lineup for today. For our first session, Ariel Bob from Yotpo will moderate a panel with Maya Juchman, Brand Marketing Director at Stix, Aisha Chotani, CEO and founder of Moment, and Michelle Peters, Senior Manager of Global E-Commerce Marketing at UPS, all about what's ahead for e-commerce. A little later, we'll be talking one-on-one with Sarah Davis, e-commerce manager at the Sports Edit, about leveling up a brand and career in e-commerce. Then we'll have a panel discussion with Priscilla, founder and CEO of Bang & Body, Daniela from e-commerce manager at Well & Co, and Hannah from Shopify, and they'll be talking about the challenges facing e-commerce brands right now. Later, we'll be digging into social commerce with Meta, and finally, we'll be talking about the innovation gap and how products designed for women by women are the next big thing with Danielle Kayembe. All right, over to you, Ariel.
Welcome everyone to our first session of the day, What's Ahead for E-commerce in 2023. My name is Ariel Bubb. I'm Senior Marketing Events Manager at Yotpo. And today I'm joined by Maya Yukteman, Brand Marketing Director at Stix. Sorry, I'm gonna do that one more time. Okay, welcome to our first session, What's Ahead for E-commerce in 2023. My name is Ariel Bubb, Senior Events Marketing Manager at Yotpo. And today I'm joined by Maya Yukteman, Brand Marketing Director at Stix, Aisha Shatani, CEO and founder at Moment, and Michelle Peters, Senior Manager, Global E-commerce Marketing at UPS, to talk about what's ahead for e-commerce, predictions, insights, and personal goals for the coming year. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today. I wanted to get started with some introductions. If you can just share a bit about your brand role, that would be fantastic. Maya, do you want to start it off?
Sure. Hi, I'm Maya. I'm the brand marketing director at Stix. Stix is a brand built by women who get it, supporting vaginal, sexual, and reproductive wellness. I work on all things organic marketing over here. Yeah.
Awesome. And Aisha?
Hi, so I'm Aisha. I am the CEO and founder of Moment, which is a botanical beverage that reduces stress and it replicates the same effect as meditation. We launched during COVID, so we've been around for the last 2 years, and it's been an exciting journey. Because we launched during COVID, we are mostly e-commerce, and I'm really excited about chatting with these wonderful women and sharing my experiences and perspectives.
Amazing. Michelle?
Hi, everyone. Michelle, I'm Senior Global Marketing Manager at UPS. And one of my main roles is managing a program called Digital Connection. One of the things that I get the most enjoyment out of, because we get to help SMBs, small business owners, entrepreneurs connect with digital solutions that they need and really help them watch their digital transformation occur. So it's been really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to where the program is going and how much we can help invest in small business owners.
Amazing. It's so great to have all of your unique perspectives on this panel. And I would love to dig a little bit more on your career journeys and what led you to e-commerce and your respective brands. Aisha, let's start with you.
Yeah, so as I had mentioned, we started during COVID. One of the reasons for me launching this brand in itself was because I personally went through a lot of mental stress. I used to work as a strategy consultant at McKinsey in my past life. And I used to, as one of the ways to cope with a really intense routine, I started meditating. I started having adaptogens, amongst a lot of other things. And the impact of that was amazing. It really changed how I felt. I've also always been dabbled in different businesses and ideas. I tried to start a cereal business in school. I tried to start an apparel business when I was a teenager. Those didn't really work out 100%. But the bug stayed. And so come COVID, when I was having a lot of these adaptogens myself and the world was going through so much stress, I just felt it was time for me to take the leap and launch Moment. And so here we are, 2 years down the road, 2 years down the road. Because we, like I was saying, because we launched during COVID, we had a primary online launch, which has been a key driver of our success as well. Educating our audience and community on what the benefits of the product, just physical, mental, emotional wellness, and taking them on the journey with us online has been really helpful for our growth.
Amazing. Michelle?
Yeah, so how did I get into e-commerce? It's been a long journey. Crazy enough, I've always had a passion to want to help companies or businesses grow and communicate and connect with their consumers. So from college to my first job out of college was with a company called CDW, working with technologies and understanding behind the scenes everything that goes into the flow of information, to my experiences here at UPS with some of our software integration systems like marketplace shipping and now digital connections. It just, there was just one thing after another that just kept pushing me in this direction. And I'm just glad I was able to find a field that I enjoy and help me accomplish my goals. So.
Awesome. And last but not least, Maya.
Awesome. So I kind of got into e-commerce originally wanting to do nonprofit work. I was very passionate about helping people with marketing. And then I found myself looking at wellness brands because I felt like I was putting good things into people's lives. And so I went through a few different startups. One of them was Gravity Blanket. I saw them through their acquisition. And then I was at an agency, and then here I am at Stix. And what really drew me to Stix and the role here, it honestly felt kismet. It's about educating people about their bodies and about their experience, especially in a time right now when reproductive health care is not the most prioritized. And I felt a little powerless. And how do I help? How do I support? And then I found this role, and it was just so beautiful. And now I get to work on a donation bank, getting pre-emergency contraceptive to those in need across the United States, and working with organizations like the Abortion Access Fund. That's the name. And so, yeah, that's how I ended up here.
That's incredible. I know it's super important. I know it's like a taboo conversation to talk about, and I'm glad that we're making space for that in the new e-commerce landscape, which leads me to the next question. We all know that it's tough right now for a lot of reasons, but I would love to hear more about your personal pain points this year at your brands, and do you think it'll get better or worse in the next coming year? Maya, do you want to kick us off with that question, with the answer to that question?
Sure. So one big pain point for us in the last year has been email deliverability. Gmail and Hotmail, and also iOS, Apple made a lot of changes to their algorithms in this past year. iOS, it was the privacy update, so your open rates are just not as relevant anymore. They're inflated. And then your Gmail and Hotmail, I think in response to it, really restricted down the algorithm. So your deliverability just went tanked if you weren't being more proactive about it. And something in the past year is now that we've expanded our product line, we're actually now technically categorized as a pharmacy company, which means we couldn't be on shared IP anymore. And so figuring out the limitations and how to grow and how to stay on top of our segmentation, how do we really strategize? It's not just mass sense every time. We have to be really thoughtful about how we're engaging with our customers, and that has been a big learning curve for us in the last year. And I think for the better in a lot of ways, which has been exciting, but definitely big moves and big grows. And then the other is paid acquisition costs for social have gone through the roof, and especially for a product line that doesn't have a super high AOV, it's not always worth it to invest in acquiring customers when you're not making it back. And so really changing how we structure our marketing spend across the board.
Right. And Aisha, what about you?
Yeah, so similar to what Maya mentioned, the cost of online advertisement, the cost of acquiring new customers has gone up really high, which is of course very tricky for anyone, but for a new e-commerce brand, it does become really difficult, because to drive repeat and retention, you need to have an original base, but we're in the process of building that base. So we have definitely done a couple of things. One is we are diversifying ourselves, testing out different channels, some new paid channels, some other channels, and then similar to what Maya mentioned, really pushing on the organic side, and they're educating existing new customers. And then thinking about how can we enhance our existing customers' experience, bring them back to us, drive larger purchases. On the other end, for us, the big challenge has also been the cost of shipping. to ship a product like ours, which weighs a lot, as it is really expensive. But in the last 9 months, as we all know, the economy has gone a little bit haywire, and inflation has been super high. It has really, really hit brands on the supply chain side, where absolutely everyone has increased their cost, but definitely on the shipping side. And so that's eaten into the margins. And so what we're trying to do here is we're looking at our holistic supply chain and seeing where can we remove certain steps, where can we make the process more efficient, reduce wastage in packaging and the number of times it can change its hands, because all of that then drives down cost. So yeah, that's been really helpful from the perspective of driving down costs in a few other areas, but also from a learning perspective as we go down this journey and we ask questions. There is just so much more that we're learning, which has also created a fair bit of innovation in our company, and that's been pretty incredible.
Awesome. And Michelle?
Yeah, so just listening to Maya and Aisha talk, it's like, me feeling some of those pain points, but just summarizing and saying doing more with less, right? They talked about the rising costs, the inflation, and operational expenses. And I think the biggest one is the acquisition costs going up. For us, it's a little bit different, but we still have a product, a program, a service, and we still want to get that word out in front of our customers. And so being able to reach your customers, being able to connect with them in bigger and bolder ways, and doing that with less resources, right? Less money, less marketing dollars. So that does drive creativity. It does drive innovation. It does drive the formulation of new partnerships, partnering, connecting with others. So the outcome has been really, really amazing to see, but the road to get there was very challenging. And so I'm glad that we had to go through it, because we wouldn't be where we are today. And many companies like Aisha's company would not have existed had they, been through the pandemic and being able to say, you know what, there has to be a change. It's going to be tough, and what should I do? And so many things have been birthed out of nothing, and we're all struggling, but we feel the pain of having to do more with less. And I think that's our biggest challenge.
That's amazing. Speaking of next year, what do you think are going to be the major e-commerce trends for 2023, and what can brands do to get ready for them? Let's start with, let's do Michelle, since we're already here.
Yeah, the biggest thing is going to be constantly improving your customer experience, connecting and communicating and personalizing every touch point, every message, and going beyond what seems to be the standard today, right? If you think about evolution, we all went to this digital selling products online, to really hearing the voice of the customer online. And now we're in that realm or that phase where it's actually visually seeing our customers online. So that in-store experience where someone was trying on something, you're looking at, how does my bottom look in this? My thighs, how does it look? And so now that's become to be video content, shoppable click-throughs. So how do you take the fact that you've now launched your online e-commerce business and now make that into an in-store real feel experience, and improving the customer experience from beginning to end, from the moment that they find your commerce site or your website to the moment that they check out. So what was the payment process like? What was the search like? What was the descriptions like? Like, everything has to be catered and personalized to your client base. So I think the more you can improve your customer experience, that is definitely a trend for most brands. So if that's not part of your strategy, you're going to fall behind. But then I would now challenge you to look at what that strategy looks like and see how you can expand on it and take it to the next level. Because that customer experience, you're going to be completely impressed about how fast and how well some people are going to be able to do that. And you want to be in there with your competitors.
Amazing. Yeah, I agree. And Maya?
I agree with all those points. Very well spoken. Love it. For us, like what we're really going to be focusing on going into 2023, one of which is customer education. It's something that we've always put a big focus on with our Real Talk blog, and like what makes us different than a brand that you could buy at Dwayne Reed. I mean, hopefully we'll be at Dwayne Reed at one point, but what makes us different? Why would you choose Stix over another brand? And it's really the education aspect. It's really the resources that we provide and the community experience. And like, we're here for you for more than just this one moment. We're here for the full experience. And it's proving that. And it's proving that via like real articles that are actually medically reviewed in a sea of information and misinformation that's spewed at you. Like, I think it's really vital that we show our community that we and build the trust by investing in our resources, investing in our writers, and like truly putting it 100% out there that it's medically reviewed, it's 100% accurate. You're safe with us, and I think that's really important in today's era. And so that's one aspect of it, and then the other is the customer journey. Like as we were saying, but I think it's not every journey looks the same in wellness brands, and specifically with our brand, like what I experience is very different than what Aisha's experienced with her body and so forth. And I think it's really important to show the different journeys of that and not just give content creators a script. I think it's really important that we show them like, this is how Stix helped along this person's experience. And I think that's really going to be a big focus of ours in 2023. And then lastly is subscription feeling like a membership. Like why subscribe to us? Like what are we offering? What are you getting? And I think we're going to do that with expert workshops, exclusive access, like truly building a community, which we're very, very excited about. So more to come on that front.
Amazing. I thought that was really good that you talked about just like your personal, this is like a personal thing, your personal health and being able to connect with the customer on that, not just like as a unison thing, but individually. So that was great. And then Aisha?
Yeah, so overall, e-commerce is the future. We're just at the very, very, very beginning aspects of it. This is gonna blow up. And in 10 years' time, of course, it's going to be bigger than retail. And so this is really, really exciting to be here at this point as we shape this industry and define some of the ways we interact with our community, not just Moment, but all of the brands, like everyone who's involved today. I agree with everything Maya and Michelle have said. Those totally resonate. Those are a lot of the things that we're doing. You know, just to emphasize on a few things, customer education is so important, especially as the world moves towards healthier products. Health and wellness is becoming more and more important, and being able to help your customers understand why, what differentiates you is really, really critical. The other aspect is this discoverability, which I think is going to be, again, super important. And there is connecting with your customers or with the community at a more authentic level, this fitting into their lives holistically. So what I mean by that is customers today, they want to support small brands, they want to support local brands, they want to support brands that have an origin story that fits into their worldview, that fits into their beliefs, and those things are going to become more and more important. I feel gone are the days where large corporates dominated the retail shelves, and that was the only thing you could find, and so that was the only thing you could buy. Now it's fair play for everyone, and so those brands are going to play an important part. And because of this rise of these smaller brands and a whole host of them, there's going to be a shift or a lot of sub trends in the e-commerce space. So like I said, we're just at the beginning of it. There's going to be a lot of changes and transformation of the space. Lastly, I think another important trend is going to be move towards video, both to connect better with your audiences, more for storytelling. But I do think that, and of course, as the technology and how we use our mobiles improves, it's just going to be more, videos are going to become more accessible. So I think how people make their websites, how they interact with customers, all of that is going to change because of this rise of video in the next year or few years. Yeah.
Awesome. Now that we talked a bit about retention, I would love to know what makes you loyal to a brand from a consumer standpoint. And I would love to hear about one brand you consider yourself loyal to and what they're doing right. Michelle, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so what makes me loyal to a brand is the way that you make me feel and the value that I get from that experience, right? And one of my favorite brands, and I know I've said this to you, to you before and to the audience before, but one of my favorite brands has always been Target, simply because, I don't know, you always need everyday things. And so you think about your brand that's loyal to you, something where you spend a lot of money, whether it's food, whether it's health and beauty, whether it's clothes, or, you can get it all there. And what made me so loyal to them was the ability that the experience from mobile, online to in-store was synchronized. It was great. When you got there, they were always nice. They were friendly. It was clean. You could find what you were looking for. The payout process, my card on my phone, my receipts automatically upload. Everything was just so easy and simple, right? And even during COVID, from the parking experience to them coming out and putting stuff in your car, they were always. It was just very easy, and you felt like they wanted you to be there. But when we think about where our loyalty lies now and where we're going, I would have to say that our favorite brands like Target are facing the challenges that everyone else is facing, right? So whether it's inflation in prices, whether it's staffing issues, whether it's inventory issues, it is diminishing the customer experience. And my loyalty is pretty much based on how I was treated before the pain hit. So that has a lot to do. How did you treat your customers before? Now, what foundation did you lie? Are the customers willing to, I'll say, ride or die with you? And in a lot of instances, we're not. In our generation, this generation today, it's like, bye-bye, not going to see you anymore. But then when I look at what their competition is doing, even if I'm disappointed in some of the areas in my favorite brand, they're still outperforming their competition. So I'm still there, right? My loyalty is still there. But now brands have to think about who can solve those challenges the quickest, because that's where we're going to shift to. If you want to retain our loyalty, we've given you a little bit of grace, right? But you got to keep up and you got to step it up. Or if your competition finds out how to exceed you, then we'll move on. So loyalty has become this 360 thing. Like, what foundation did you set before? Where are we at today? And will we remain loyal to? So I would just, my advice to the audience and to brands out there everywhere is to think about loyalty in a 360-degree perspective, and make sure that you're not just resting on your laurels with the loyalty that you have, but you're finding ways to keep that loyalty ongoing.
Yeah. And I know that Target is doing something right when I walk in for one thing and my cart is $300 and I'm like, what the hell just happened? How does this happen every single time? Target knows what they're doing. Maya, what about you?
There's a couple of brands that I'm pretty loyal to, and I think it really comes down to how I'm being rewarded. I'm a sucker for positive reinforcement. So like, give me a cookie and I'm super excited, which actually is one of the brands. It's HelloFresh. It's similar to the punch card campaign that Yotpo does with their loyalty program, where every few purchases I get a reward and I can choose that reward. And I know 3 meals from now, I'm going to get a cookie, or I'm going to get a treat or a coffee or something like that. And it just makes me feel good. And I think that also leads into the other brand that I'm really excited about, which is AWIE. They are a dog food brand. My dog, you might have seen her ears a second ago, and that's her tail. She has a lot of allergies. And so they really helped me get to that point. And I think it leans into what Michelle was saying about customer experience. Like they really helped me figure out the foods for her, and they reach out and check in with me, and they like preemptively like look out for my needs before I even have to think about them. And I think that's really, really important as a brand to like stand out above the rest.
Awesome. And Aisha?
Yeah, so my favorite brand is a brand called Outer Isle. They make these breads out of cauliflower and broccoli, and there is there's 20 different reasons why I love this brand, but and I'm so loyal to them. But I'll just mention a few. First is, I think they're just so courageous and brave. They have created a category on their own. This wasn't a thing. Collie pins, I mean, most people don't even know collie pins is a thing, but they created it and they did it successfully, and they've been around and grown. So that's really, really awesome for them to take such a step. The second reason is they've been really innovative. They started off with collie pins, then they moved into a whole bunch of different cauliflower type products, and now recently they started broccoli pins, which is really, really healthy and awesome as well. So I love it. And then thirdly, this leads into what Michelle was saying. I mean, every brand has a lot of issues, and there'll be things that don't go wrong, but what is awesome about them is the overall experience that they provide. Knowing that I'm a loyal customer, they'll make sure that I stay happy, and will go to extents to do that. And I understand and I appreciate it. So yeah, for those reasons, I feel that's my favorite brand, and I consume a lot of collie and broccoli things. Yep.
I definitely need to go into that instead of eating white bread, but I just love my white bread. I don't know what it is. I need to get it together. I know we're running out of time. Lastly, I wanted to get personal, and I know we've been getting personal throughout the panel. And as we look ahead for 2023, I want to talk about what your goals are, maybe one personal and one work-wise, or should I say one professional. I'll tell you mine first. So I would say professional one would be just self-love and just continuing to pour into myself and prioritizing my boundaries and learning, my triggers and all of that stuff around self-love and what comes with it. And then professional, which I still feel like can pour into work, or did I just say, personal, but just, I would say kindness. I think through frustration, it's so easy to be kind when nothing's going on, but I feel like we have a lot on our plates, and it's so easy to get frustrated as the first sign of defense. But I think we need to learn kindness through frustration. So I would say that would be mine. Maya, what about you?
Personal, I loved all of yours, by the way. Personal, I am looking forward to buy a home this upcoming year. The market isn't great right now, but yeah, it's something my husband and I are really excited to do. And like, I want to decorate the house. I want it to be mine. I want to redo a kitchen, like the whole shebang. I'm ready. So that's something that we're looking into doing and investing and starting that process. So that's one personal for the next upcoming year. And then professional, now that we're really not investing in paid as thoroughly, I'm really looking forward to, for context, last year we popped off last summer during sorry, you just heard my dog running across, but we popped off last summer during our emergency contraceptive launch. And how do I mimic those results? How do I continue that? How do I create these moments for our community? And that's something that I'm challenging myself with professionally this upcoming year, and I'm really excited about.
Amazing. And Michelle?
So professionally, I'll just say really people development. In my personal, my professional goals are really kind of mixing together here. But my professional goal is really, like, I enjoy mentoring and I enjoy working with others and watching their growth. And I really just want to be able to take that to the next level next year and really continue to work with up and coming talent and bright stars of tomorrow and be able to impact them and cultivate them and mentor them into their careers in the directions that they should go. So from a professional level, that's kind of what I want to do. But from a personal level, I've actually been doing a lot of work and I hope to see it take off next year. And my own private brand myself and just launching me, right? So just really creating my own brand, and you guys will probably start to see it as it officially launches next year. But promoting me better and putting me first and really going after following my dreams. And now that I'm really well established in my business career, but my own private brand and moving that forward. So that is my personal goal.
I'm all about that. I'm all about it.
And
I know it's time. And then lastly, Aisha.
For me, on the professional side, as the team grows, one of my big goals is to empower and develop the team to step up into some of the leadership roles and take charge so we can continue on to that we're on. We have a really amazing team, a lot of women actually. We lean heavily both on the leadership side and just overall, mostly women. So that's really awesome. But yeah, I want to spend more time, and one of my goals is to help them grow further. And then on the personal side, I'm actually quite a health bundy, if you haven't already taken that from the conversation. And I love experimenting with new foods and routines. And one of the things I want to start doing is powerlifting. So I want to start powerlifting, mostly because of the reverse aging benefits of it. And yes, I'm excited about getting into it. Yeah.
I have some things to learn from you about that part.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you how it goes.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Michelle, Maya, and Aisha, thank you so much for sharing your insights with me and everybody watching. I think e-commerce brands are going to get a lot from this session and learn how to prepare more for what's to come in 2023. And up next, we have Talia Shani from Yotpo and Sarah Davis from the Sports Edit to talk about leveling up brands and careers in e-commerce. Now over to you, Talia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Talia. I'm a director of marketing at Yotpo and founder of Amazing Women in E-commerce. And I'm super excited to be joined today by Sarah Davis, the e-commerce manager at the Sports Edit. And we're just going to be talking about some things about her career, Sports Edit, e-commerce. And yeah, let's just dive right in. Sarah, thank you so much for being here with us today. How are you?
Good, thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I would love to just start out with a quick intro. If you can kind of just tell us about yourself, your career, where you are today.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Sarah. I work for the Sports Edit, and that is an online retailer specialising in women's premium activewear. As a brand, we believe in the power of sweat and providing our customers with the best brands from around the world, wellbeing content to support their active lifestyle, inspire them to move and kind of improve their lives through fitness. I've been with the company for 4.5, nearly 5 years as the e-commerce manager. It's a really broad role. It's changed quite a lot as the company has grown and more people have joined the team. I've worn many hats over the years, but my key responsibilities now are online conversion and customer experience across our 3 Shopify stores. Managing all website development, kind of how the website looks and functions, the tech stack behind it, marketplace revenue, and SEO strategy.
Sounds like a lot. Sounds like you're busy. And so you started, I mean, going back to sort of the beginning of your career, you went to school for fashion design, right? So what brought you into e-commerce?
Yeah, I did. People often ask me this question because it sometimes seems a bit random, I think. But I wanted to be a fashion designer for as long as I can remember. From when I was really, really young, there was never a question that I was going to do that at university, and I loved it when I was there. But when I was there, I constantly kind of heard about how hard it was to get design jobs, how few jobs there were, and it just felt like I needed to kind of expand my horizons a bit. So I started looking around and exploring different areas of industry that I could work in, that were maybe more on the business side. So I was thinking about buying, production at one point, and ecom wasn't really talked about as an option at that time within fashion. So production was originally the route I was going to go, and I managed to get a role in a small swimwear business, doing production, and then, as with any small business, I was also doing managing the online business that existed at the time, which was a fairly small website, but allowed me to get to know Magento a bit, and then I just loved doing that more than production. I really liked how it combined creativity and business and a kind of business head, so it just went from there, really.
That's awesome. It's interesting how you kind of had part of a role in e-commerce, and then you were able to make that choice and say, oh, well, I'm actually really interested in this part of the role, and kind of create that for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It just allowed me to get the best of both, an insight into both parts of the roles, which was really cool. I don't think you don't really often see jobs now combining e-com and production, so it was quite an interesting opportunity.
Yeah, and you see how your springboard from like the fashion design background like led actually really directly into, because you had that role in production, which your fashion design background helped, and then you kind of springboarded that into e-commerce. I love that. So about e-commerce, you've been in the industry for a bit. What are some of the big changes that you've noticed since you started working in e-commerce?
Yeah, so I've been working in ecom now, well, since 2013. So it's changed loads since I first started. I think obviously the amount of players that are in the field has hugely increased, but also how seriously businesses take their digital strategy. Even 3 to 5 years ago, some businesses weren't investing in their D2C business, and their digital business, and missed opportunities. And then I think there's obviously been loads of exciting technology developments over the years. What I find most exciting, I think, now versus then, especially when I first started, is just how accessible it is. So platforms like Shopify, Squarespace, and so on, even tiny businesses can get online and reach massive audiences so much more quickly, cheaply, and more easily than ever before. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is really nice sort of how it's just become, I mean, it's really cliche to say that like anyone can open a business from their basement, but it really does happen. And it's sort of, when you look at how some of the biggest businesses started in e-commerce, like it really did start with someone's sort of passion and doing something on their own and catching, just like it caught like wildfire. And now they're this massive business. The sports edit has grown a lot over the past 2 years. And I'm curious about sort of what are the challenges that you faced as you were growing it?
Yeah, it has grown so much. 2020 obviously was extremely challenging, for lots of different reasons, but it really was a turning point for our business. So we closed our stores that we had 2 physical stores in London at the time, and the pandemic allowed us actually to kind of refocus our priorities, and we decided online was where we wanted to go. So we closed the stores, focused purely online, and then the summer of that year, in August 2020, we ran a successful crowdfunding campaign, and that allowed us to bring more specialists into the team, add more brands, including Nike, which was the big kind of coup of that year. It was massive for us as a business to successfully land Nike as an account and expand our ranges, and then also build our own brand. So we faced so many challenges along the way, but I think probably the one we always come back to, and this is probably similar for everyone in small businesses is just being a small team and wanting to do so much all the time with lean resource. And our constant challenge is just how to prioritize, constantly assessing the best use of the resource we have, and of course budget restraints like any business. But this year we were acquired by M&S, which is the biggest clothing retailer in the UK, for those not in the UK. And that is obviously so exciting. It brings so many exciting opportunities, but obviously challenges of its own as well. We're a small team integrating into a large corporate business, so I'm sure there's many challenges ahead, but there's also huge amounts of opportunity and learning opportunities that will come with it.
Thank you so much for clarifying what M&S is for our outside of the UK. I think I'm wondering now if I realize, like, when I'm shopping on the M&S website, that probably around the time that Sports Edit was acquired, I started to see brands that I hadn't seen before on their website. I'm wondering, is that because of the Sports Edit acquisition? Is that why I'm noticing new brands?
Yeah, it's not. We're not. Our sportswear presence isn't live on their site yet, but will be soon. But no, as a business, they are focusing massively on their branded business. So you will, absolutely, as over the last few months especially, they've really been ramping up the number of brands and trying to expand different categories in different areas, and sportswear is obviously a big opportunity for them, and we've been brought in as kind of the experts in that area, so we'll be bringing some exciting brands to come.
It's so cool. I mean, I can imagine, like you said, like the benefits and challenges that come with being a smaller business integrating with this massive business. But it's also just it's such a success story, right? Like this small business that got acquired by M&S, like, which again, I know we talked about it, but like I guess I'll say, like, I'm an M&S fangirl. I love it for food and clothing. And so it's iconic, right? I guess that's the best way to put it. It's an iconic British brand. And so for you guys to become a part of that is just like what an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, we always say started from the basement, now we're here, because when I first joined the company, we used to work in the it was like a converted garage at the back of the store in Chelsea. So it's just kind of, it's been amazing to see it from there to now, and obviously what we have planned for the future as well. It's a great story to be able to tell.
So literally what we were talking about earlier with how e-commerce has made it accessible for people to start businesses in the basement. This is it. And then you're literally exactly what we talked about, and then acquired by M&S. That's amazing. You had talked, you just mentioned in your for the last question that Sports Edit has recently launched their own brand or their own label. Can you talk about sort of that launch, what went into that, maybe some of the challenges or fun bits of that as well?
Yeah, so we launched our own brand, YMO, in May this year, after about a year and a half development. So a huge amount of work went into it, and kind of most people in the business were involved in it in some capacity. One of the key pillars of that brand is designed by you for you. So we of course have a huge amount of data in this space collected over the last 7 years, but we also spent a huge amount of time surveying and speaking to our customers to ask them what are you missing from your activewear, what fabrics and fits do you love, you don't love, and we used all of that to deliver a brand and a range of product that actually delivers. So in terms of the actual performance of the product, we obviously that has to be number one, price point, but also sustainability credentials, because we found from speaking to our customers, we obviously kind of knew this already from various different projects that we've done over the last few years, but sustainability is becoming more and more important for all consumers, but particularly for ours. So the collection that we launched with in May, 70% of it is made from organic or recycled materials, and as we develop more collections, that will increase. So I was personally involved with it right from the start, from concept design to the customer survey, to fit stages, and then delivering the site experience on the TSE website, Sports Edit website, but also I designed and developed a dedicated YMO site as well. So yeah, it was a lot of work for a long time, but we're really proud of it. And yeah, the product is amazing. So we're doing the new collection at the moment. Actually, it will launch in January, and it's looking even cooler. It just kind of gets better and better. So it's a great project to be able to be a part of.
That's great. And correct me if I'm wrong, but have we come full circle back to your design background? Because I know you were involved with some parts of like the design side. Were you tapping into those skills as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, not myself directly. I think it's one of those things that you definitely, I think I could have been able to be involved in it, but also would never have been able to sleep if I did all of those things as well. But yeah, definitely bringing in those sides of my skill set into how I fed back into design and fit. Yeah, it was really great to be able to kind of pick that up again. And previous to the Sports Edit, I worked in a brand rather than a multi-brand business. So it was nice being able to revisit that side as well.
Yeah. And what is you pronounce it YMO, not YMO?
YMO, yeah.
YMO. And what does it stand for? Did you say?
Uni hours.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry. Yeah, just about community and bringing people together. That's kind of what we want to stand for.
It's amazing. Okay, now kind of shifting to your career, your future. Where do you see yourself in the future? Are you going to stay in e-commerce?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I still think there's so much to do, and it's changing all the time. There's always new technologies coming out. So I think I want to continue what I'm doing, get more experience. Obviously, as now we're part of a bigger business, there's so much opportunity to work with more experts, experience different systems and new technologies. And I think in the future, I probably see myself going back to smaller independent brands, kind of helping them build their digital businesses, telling their stories online. But yeah, I definitely see that staying in e-commerce.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe you like that journey of like being at a small business and helping them kind of grow to like where the Sports Edit has grown.
I think so. Yeah, I've always been a part of startup companies for the last kind of 9.5 years. So although they can be very challenging, you just get insight and opportunity that you just don't get in big businesses. And I think when you're starting out and learning, I think it's invaluable to get that experience and that knowledge.
Yeah, at Yotpo we always say like it's can be, I mean sometimes not, but it can be like a really different skill set to be doing that, like, you know, to be a part of those first, I don't know, 5 employees, be a part of the first 20 employees, 100, 500,000. Like it can take just like different people sort of at each step, and some people become an expert in what it's like to be the first 5 employees, right? And like all of those challenges, all of those benefits, you just get to know that world so well. And some people kind of stay along and, you know, become like this more, I don't know, corporate, like able to navigate a huge organization. But it's cool that you have that option, right? Like, you know, now both sides. So.
Exactly, it's kind of best of both worlds. Yeah, I couldn't really ask for anything more, actually.
Awesome. So what advice, I mean, obviously you've had an amazing career and we're talking so much about your experience. What advice would you give to a woman who's just starting out in e-commerce today?
I think, as I was saying, it's such a rapidly developing area to be working in. And what I generally find, especially when I speak to other women or people that work in e-commerce, and also when I interview people, is that roles and responsibilities just differ so much company to company within e-commerce. So I think my advice would definitely be to try and explore roles and companies that allow you to get the visibility on those different areas and different parts of the business. You can try lots of different things and find out whether you would like to specialize in one particular area, like digital marketing, for example, or would you like to be more of a generalist and kind of have a broader role? Because they're definitely 2 different skill sets as well, and you learn probably pretty quickly which you would like to be. And then I think network, go to events, meet people, so you know what technologies people are using in the market. You can share ideas and problems. I think that can be invaluable, especially when you are in a small business. Ask questions. Loads and loads of questions. I feel like that's probably where I've learned the most, just from asking different members of the team to, sit down, quickly explain something to me, or why did you do that way, or how did you get that piece of information? And then experiment, research. There's so much information and resources out there, and I think if you're not getting the experience that you want or looking for in the role you're currently in, look at Google's free courses. There's so many amazing books. You can and actually I would say also the thing that I always pick up on in interviews is look at a broad range of retailers and brands and what they're doing to really expand your knowledge, and don't just focus on kind of the big names that everyone knows, because often that's how you pick up on more interesting features or customer journeys or ways of communicating the customer journey. So I think that's really, really important, and I don't often see that from people at the beginning of their career.
Yeah, I wanted to sort of double down on one of the things that you said about asking questions. I think that's like so important to hear. By the way, I'm far from the beginning of my career, but something my manager said to me recently that really resonated with me is like, you need to know that the risk of not asking the question, of not getting the answer, is less than the risk of you might maybe seeming a little silly if you ask a question that you feel like, because that's for me, sometimes I tell myself, well, everybody knows, right? Like nobody's asking this question because everybody already knows the answer. And she kind of said, well, but what if you don't get the answer? Like if you don't ask the question and you don't get the answer, that's way worse than if you ask the question and you look a little silly because everyone knows. And 90% of the time, everybody doesn't know. So just ask a question. You're helping everybody by asking.
Exactly. 90% of the time, everyone else is thinking the same thing as you, but aren't brave enough to ask the question.
So be brave enough. Yeah.
And I think it gets you, and probably in all size companies, it also actually gets you noticed as well. If you show intrigue and you walk away knowing exactly what you need to know, rather than walking away and being confused, and maybe it takes you longer to do something because you don't actually understand what was presented to you. So yeah, I think it's invaluable, and don't be embarrassed. People love being asked questions as well. People love it.
Yeah. Look what we're doing right now. So speaking of questions, I think this is going to be our last question. It's been great talking to you, but we're running out of time. So I just want to know, what are your some of your favorite e-commerce brands, and why do you love those brands?
I have so many. I could go on for hours, but multi-brand wise, because obviously I'm in the multi-brand space, I think End do a fantastic job. Kind of started out in the premium men's space, but yeah, I think they're a great business. Glasset, which is a newer multi-brand in the interior space, I love what they do and sort of how they curate interiors. And then Cult Beauty in the beauty space, I'm sure many people obviously know that one. And then independent brands wise, I love Tala, obviously in the activewear space. I think how Grace and her team have built that brand using community and social media at the core of their strategy, I think is amazing and not easy to do. They make it look effortless, but it's really very hard to replicate that. And I love the sustainable ethos of the brand as well. And then I love Spoke, which is a men's customizable trouser brand. Rafa, a big name. Outdoor Voices and Masoma, which is a jewelry brand. I've kind of followed them right since the beginning of their journey. I think it's been so cool to watch how they've grown and developed their product range over the years. And then a couple of newer ones, Sheep Inc., which is a really cool knitwear company. I think they have a really cool website, and the way that they do their storytelling and their product imagery, I think is really interesting. And then With Nothing Underneath, which is a women's shirt brand. I'm actually wearing, this is one of their shirts. But they have a really cool story. They've just become a B Corp recently. So yeah, I have loads. That's just the ones that I can think of that I admire.
Is Sheep Ink the one that does like your shirt is like tracked back to like a sheep tracker? Okay. Yeah. They're very cool. I was just thinking actually, as you were saying these brands, I was like, either I'm already targeted by these brands on social media or I'm about to be because we're having this conversation, which I'm down for. I'm excited.
In no time.
Exactly. All right, Sarah, thank you so much. It was super interesting getting to talk to you. Thank you for joining us today. You are truly an amazing woman in e-commerce. And yeah, I hope to see you face to face at one of our events soon in the UK. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome to AWIE Online, navigating a challenging e-commerce landscape. My name is Carmel Zane. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager here at Yotpo Australia, and I am so excited to be joined by these three superstars, Priscilla from Bang & Body, Daniela from Wellco, and Hannah from Shopify Plus. So excited to have you all here today to join us. We're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into challenges that the brands in the industry are facing right now and top strategies that they're using to survive and thrive in a pretty harsh economic time. So Priscilla, Daniela, Hannah, again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. So I'll just get you all to quickly do a brief introduction of yourself. Just share a little bit about your brand and your role within the brand. Maybe we will start with you, Priscilla.
Hi, everyone. My name's Priscilla Hadjian-Tony, and I am the founder and CEO of Bang & Body. We are a natural, firming, and multifaceted beauty brand, really trying to, I guess, disrupt the industry as we know at the moment. We focus heavily on sustainability as well as innovative products that do more for less.
Thank you. Let's go, Hannah.
Hi guys, and Carmel, thank you so much for putting this together and having us speak and talk to a brilliant topic. I can safely speak for all of us that we love AWIE, Amazing Women in E-commerce, and I'm really excited for this session. So hi all, my name is Hannah. I'm in partnerships at Shopify. For those of you who do not know Shopify, we are a e-commerce platform that very privilegedly powers millions of brands across the world, including Wellco and Bang & Body. I'm very lucky to be in partnerships because I get to work with a lot of amazing agency partners as well as partners such as Yotpo. So I'm looking forward to the session and talking all things retention strategies.
Thank you, Hannah. Daniela.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Danny. I'm the e-commerce manager at Wellco. Wellco is an ingestible beauty brand started by Elle Macpherson around 8 years ago. So now we're a global brand. Edit that out. I just froze. Sorry. This is my first webinar. So
no, you're doing great.
Let me start that again.
Okay. Don't apologize. It's all good.
Yeah. We're used to it.
I'm the e-commerce manager at Wellco. Wellco is an ingestible beauty brand founded by Elle Macpherson around 8 years ago. We're now a global brand with our best sellers as collagen and our super elixir, our greens powder. I head up all things digital, so email, paid, SMS. We've just launched an app and we have a presence on Amazon in the US as well.
Amazing. Again, thank you all for joining AWIE today. It's so lovely to have you all. So as we know, it's no secret, it's a tough time to be an e-commerce brand right now, any e-commerce business really. Customer acquisition costs are skyrocketing, privacy regulations keep getting tighter, and the economy is extremely volatile at the moment. So I'd really love to hear from all of you on the challenges that you're facing, because I'm sure that many of the listeners today might be facing the same challenges. So if you could just each tell me, considering the climate at the moment, what are the top challenges that you guys are facing right now? Anyone can jump in.
I'd say the biggest challenge for us right now is the cost to advertise. costs are just increasing year on year, month on month, especially in the US and the UK, where those macro conditions are probably a lot harsher than what we're feeling here. So yeah, just navigating how can we creative test and communicate that messaging to the customer to break through that competition and that cost to advertise. So we've been doing a lot of different angle testing, testing different propositions like dollar per day. We found to be a really effective tool to reduce our CPA. So yeah, that's definitely a challenge that we're facing.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that all e-commerce brands are really kind of having to navigate at the moment. I think during COVID, acquisition and being able to be seen was a lot easier because the consumer was on their digital devices a lot of the time, maybe 23 hours per day, where now we're having to break through a world where everyone is living their lives and really stepping out of their digital screens, because that was really the norm. There is definitely still appetite there, 100%, but now you have a much shorter time frame to capture the audience. So you really have to ensure that you are communicating your USPs really clearly. You are really aligning your values to your consumer and what really matters to you. And you really do have to stay authentic. I think at the end of the day, you know, TikTok becoming a huge market for consumers at the moment. I think it's how you can relate and be relatable to your chosen and direct consumer.
Yeah, and look, I think just underpinning all of that, there's absolutely no doubt, and I'm sure everyone even listening to this is experiencing inflation pressures, consumer spending and shopping in different ways. Customer acquisition costs obviously are, you know, the death of third-party cookies are affecting everyone. But one thing I will say, just to put a bit of a positive spin on this, what COVID did do is accelerate the way that we shop online. In fact, I think there's a lot of data that says that we're around 6 to 10 years ahead of where we were if we look at pre-COVID in terms of the expectations that people expect when they shop online and just the appetite to shop online. There's that trust barrier has really been broken through quite significantly. What that means is more people are shopping online, which means you have more of an audience. So yes, inflation is an issue at the moment. Customer spending is an issue. But what it is really important to do now to be able to capture the available audience that is now more, you know, shopping more frequently online is really think about loyalty, the way you're connecting to your consumer, making sure that you're delivering the right message, as Priscilla, you put so well, in the right way to be able to go and take advantage of something that is, you know, tough. Also, I'd just, again, to put a spin on it, start to think about the channels that you're utilizing. So if you are struggling with customer acquisition costs, which I know that everyone is, have you looked at B2B channels? Have you looked at wholesale? Have you looked at other channels where you could potentially find different consumers in new ways, and think about what you're doing across the board to be able to capture and retain new customers. So I think that although we are in a very interesting space, there is a lot that we can do to really be able to capture new audiences.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And great points from everyone. I mean, definitely retention did come up here, and obviously having your own data, capturing data through your own channels is very important. Let's just talk about retention for a second then, and how big of a focus that is for you this year, and has that changed perhaps compared to last year? Obviously there was a huge influx of new customers shopping online, so acquisition was huge. It seems to me from what I'm seeing that now it is about retaining those customers. So can you talk to me a little bit about how you're going about doing that in your strategies?
I can start. So I guess for us, you know, as mentioned, acquisition costs are at an all-time high. So when you are acquiring a customer, you have to really treat that customer with a level of care to be able to then retain them and keep them in your funnel. It doesn't make sense to constantly be going after new customers time and time again, because it is a very costly exercise. Them being in your funnel, being a part of your brand and becoming a cult loyal customer is what's going to really drive that next level of growth and really help with, you know, the CPCs, really help with your, you know, MER or ROAS and overall retention and I guess, you know, the loyalty element of the brand. So for us, you know, implementing a loyalty program was absolutely essential. It was one that I was thinking about for pretty much 3 years since we started Bang & Body. But being, I guess, a new brand and, you know, really being open to the idea, but not just diving straight into it, I wanted to work alongside my community to really understand what type of loyalty program they would want to see. So therefore, once we aligned with the right partner, which has been Yotpo, and who have been absolutely amazing with the integration side and implementing a really streamlined process, we were able to go out to our community through social media and really ask if we were going to be launching a loyalty program. We wanted it to be meaningful and purposeful. So what would they be expecting from us? What would they engage with? And how would they, you know, really help to be along that journey on really growing, you know, their, I guess, point system or alignment with the brand and really stay within that funnel. So we worked for a good, I think, probably all up was close to a year in terms of understanding what our consumer was wanting, then actually putting that into a strategy to then actually align with Yotpo on integration and customization, and then delivery and execution. So, you know, for us, we did a lot of time on that planning and aligning ourselves with the community before, I guess, pressing go on the execution. But it has been amazing. And especially now going into the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, you know, peak period, you know, it's so important to ensure that you do have a retention strategy, because there is a lot of opportunity to acquire new customers. Yes, it might be more costly as well, but normally during this time, a lot of people, and Hannah, you probably know the stat better than me, a lot of people drop off. You know, they buy into the brand, but they might not come back because they're looking for a sale. So if you can, you know, encourage through loyalty and they earn points, and, you know, there is a reason, not only because your product is amazing to come back, but you're showing that appreciation to them. So loyalty has been huge. And we've also just launched our subscription service because our products are really replenishable. So again, with Yotpo, we've launched subscription, which has been absolutely amazing, where it's really a set and forget model. And they also do save a percentage every single time that they purchase. So, you know, it's a product that they love. They're really loving your brand and your brand values. You know, you keep them in your funnel and they're not ultimately going to be looking elsewhere, especially in skincare. It's one of those things where it can be really hard to acquire a customer because there's many objections. So when you acquire them and they love your brand, you really hope that you can keep that relationship going and build those conversations with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to say, you know, there'll be lots of listeners right now going, oh, you know, I'd love to launch a loyalty program. And I think one of the most crucial things, and the way that you went about it, Priscilla, was amazing, was that you actually surveyed the customers first, which is so important because you have to understand what they want, what values are aligning with theirs, and what they actually want to see from a loyalty program. So if anyone is thinking about launching a loyalty program, I'd say that's probably the most crucial step, is that the research beforehand.
Yeah. And can I just say, I think the next 18 months, 12 to 18 months will be around loyalty. But a part of loyalty is, like Priscilla, you've said very rightfully, understand your customer. And you're going to understand your customer through various data points. Those data points can be through email, can be through SMS, can be through, you know, as I think I saw on the Bang & Body's page, just doing like an Instagram poll. Think about all of the data points you're capturing to then build a loyalty program that is right for your brand and right for your customer. Because there's no point in going gung-ho at something if you don't have that validation that it's going to work. And I think also, coming back, Priscilla, to your point before, being meaningful to your brand, like living by your values, living by your purpose, living by your what your brand stands for, is also really important. Whilst the matter, and I know that I'd love to open it up more so on retention strategies as well. But I think it's really important to think about SMS in this period, because if you're thinking about and again, SMS in the right way, because and I'm not an expert on SMS, but when I do talk to a lot of brands, the number one concern is, it's going to be spamming. Yes and no. Like, yes, if you're going and sending a barrage of SMSs to customers that don't want to hear from you. No, if you're being very intentional in terms of who you're sending that SMS to and providing them the right message in the right way, then actually we see that, and Carmel, you'll be able to back me up here. Conversion is super high, and it's actually very good in terms of delivering messages to high value customers or VIP customers. So really think about, don't be scared of SMS. Think about how you utilize it in a way, especially over the coming period, to capture new customers, but also keep up the message flow after you bring them into your funnel during Black Friday. Because again, Priscilla, I always love the points that you raise, but there will be more people coming to your site over Black Friday, but a very high number of them won't purchase again. So it's how you build your loyalty program to then capture that data and then think about the ways in terms of how you can continue to message them moving forward. SMS is a really great way to do this. Email is also a very high converting way of talking to your customers in a meaningful and intentional long-term capacity and manner. So SMS and email, I think, are, go alongside a really well-built loyalty program in a very end-to-end retention strategy. So thinking about those three elements, I think, is very, very important over the next, not just the next month, over the next 6 to 12 months, right? Because the data shows that a customer needs to come back a couple of times for them to be a loyal customer. So really thinking about it in a long-term period, as opposed to, I just need to get them within the next month. I just need to get customers to my site. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the way we think about retention is customer lifetime value. So what strategies can we put in place to really extend what the customer will spend with us over their journey? So subscription has been really pivotal for us in that regard. Our subscription customers spend almost 3 times as much over their lifetime as our non-subscription customers. So it's been really key for us to have the right email flows, SMS flows in place to make sure those customers are finding their way to our subscription program. And then loyalty tied into that as well. So we had a loyalty program, which was kind of a bit neglected. And this year we really revamped it. We re-platformed to Yotpo, which has been amazing. So we've had really great feedback from all our customers on how easy it is to use. And we find our loyalty customers are twice as likely to repeat purchase, even if they're not on subscription. So it's been a really, really valuable tool for us to retain those customers. And to your point on SMS, big SMS fan over here. We've really focused on building our list. We're about double to what we were last year. Again, we use Yotpo for SMS, which has been a really great platform for us. And yeah, all the metrics are really talking to, sorry, that doesn't make sense. All the metrics are really, really positive. Around 7% of our revenue now is coming from SMS. So it's a really, really valuable channel. And the customers that are signing up are really engaged and want to hear from you. So I definitely consider using that, especially over the holidays.
Yeah. And I think you raise a good point as well in that, utilize the next Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if you're going to partake in that period. Use that to build your subscriber base. That is what I would say. Use that particular period to bring people into your funnel. So that way you then have, like you said, SMS is a really good way of engaging customers long term. So I just think we sometimes speak about BFCM in the wrong way, where it shouldn't just be about sales. It's actually about building your own database.
And I think I would say, in terms of, Hannah, you were saying before, people listening might think of SMS as spammy. So we do use SMS as a core strategy at Bang Body. We also use SMS bump with Yotpo. And for us, it's not about, a a spread and spray, or, you know, kind of like a push and spray strategy. It's really tailoring to your top VIPs that want to hear from you. They actually are appreciative from hearing from you first through an SMS, then seeing the sale running and going, oh my God, like my top products are out of stock, and I wasn't the one to find out first, and I consider myself as a top VIP. So they want to hear from you. I think it's just being mindful on when you send it. So you're not going to send an SMS at 1 a.m. Like, of course, that's going. Would you like to receive an SMS at 1 a.m.? Probably not, if your phone's not on silent. So I think it's just really looking at yourself as a consumer, being like, okay, when would I like to receive an SMS? And then you can really cross-reference that with the amazing data that you can see through the SMS platform, or, you know, wherever you seek the data from your SMS, and really understand, okay, what is the shopping behaviors and who are your top VIPs? You can really segment, and you can also segment your database to tailor for what you want to communicate. So is it a top VIP? Is it for your top VIPs for a sale, or is it a win back, someone who hasn't purchased from you in, you know, a couple of months, and you really want to give them an opportunity to come back into the funnel? You might give them a really exclusive discount, but, you know, that's okay. It's probably like, you know, maybe in the day, you know, they get a text message, they might be in a buying mood, they're on lunch. You know, you never know. So I think it's just, try not to think about it being spammy. Just think about, how would you like to receive SMSs?
Yeah, absolutely. And it needs a strategy around it. I think some people forget, just as you need an email strategy, you definitely do need an SMS strategy as well. And it's an amazing channel because it's a lower investment than the rest of them. You don't need graphic design, you don't need any tech. It's literally just a couple of characters and you push go, and that's all it is. So it's a low lift with amazing ROI. So really glad to see that you guys are using it really well. Danny and Priscilla, so you're both in the health and beauty space. Could you maybe talk to us about what is unique about being in this space, in this vertical in particular? What's unique about marketing as an e-commerce brand within the health and beauty space?
You can go. I'm happy to go first. It's always like
you go.
I was going to say what's unique, or maybe probably really special, is you get to build beautiful relationships with your community. And I guess with skincare, it's personable. It's something that, you know, it's about building that conversation and understanding the needs of your consumer. I think in any other, you know, industry, you know, there is definitely conversations and relationships, but it definitely could be a lot faster. So with skincare, you know, there is a lot more objections. There is a lot more potential concerns from someone's point of view on, I've got really sensitive skin, or my skin breaks out, you know, every time I try a new product, or, you know, so it's all about that knowledge and communication and reassurances, and having those conversations with your community on your values and, you know, what are your USPs, and how can you really stand out and be different, and what else do you offer that the other brands in the industry don't. So for us, with our community, you know, we have always become really great listeners on, you know, what they feel is missing from their routines and what they feel they're missing from the industry. And I think from our perspective, and Bang Body being a real, I guess, a leader in the industry, really creating and heroing multifaceted firming formulas that really help, you know, many different skin types, but for the face and body. And we give a different perspective. We give a different option. So, you know, simplicity is better. And we really, you know, push that as a way to open up different options and opportunities for the consumer who might be incredibly overwhelmed, or their skin is flaring up and also feeling overwhelmed. So we really help our consumer understand, you know, what may be happening with their skin. You know, we give solutions, and for instance, our products are dermatologically tested and we do clinical trials. So we really give, you know, that evidence-backed performance through our products, but it's always about assisting them on their skin journey. So it's not just about the destination, it's how are you feeling right now, and how can we ensure that you feel your best self and, you know, are happy within the journey that you're on. We don't want to overcomplicate. We don't want it to be a really expensive exercise. We don't want it to feel like a chore. We want it to be super enjoyable and really kind of be there as a supporter, not just really for their skin, but also for their mental health and, you know, the way that they're feeling. So yeah, it's a really, for me, I'm so grateful. I suffered with my skin for 15 years with hormonal acne and eczema. So I truly understand the vulnerabilities of being in this space, and I guess seeing all the glamorized, beautiful skincare on pamphlets and, packaging, and you're just like, oh, my skin doesn't look like that, so I'm less than. So for us at Bang Body, we really try to hero, inclusivity, in that everybody is deserving of feeling their best, and everybody is, banging in a way. So I think, for us, and for me, it's been such a beautiful journey over the past 3.5 years, because I've been able to connect with so many amazing humans. And we really embrace that good feeling that I guess is missed in the industry. So yeah, I feel like I probably went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I feel like by building those relationships and really understanding the consumer and really how we can continue to disrupt the industry, I think has really been able to push the brand forward.
Amazing. Danny, did you want to add to that?
Probably what's most unique for our industry, and is also one of the biggest advantages, would be the customer reviews and testimonials that we get, because our product can be so life-changing. People share the most amazing reviews, with whether it's their skin, their energy, their libido, whatever they're feeling. So it's really amazing to see how your product is positively impacting people, and then also to be able to use that as a really powerful marketing tool to acquire new customers. We use our reviews again with Yotpo, and it's a really powerful widget. We have a lot of engagement, and it really helps with our conversion. So, and across other channels as well, email, paid, it's been a really, really great tool.
Amazing. Yeah, I think this vertical is heavily based on trust, because it is health and beauty. So reviews definitely is a very good proof point to help with that strategy for sure. We mentioned, a little bit about the economic times at the moment and the challenges that we're facing, and now we are heading into peak season. So I'm interested to know if this year's feeling different for you guys compared to last year. And what is it like for your brand, and what are you sort of expecting to see happen this year for peak season?
I'm really excited for peak season this year. It's definitely feeling different in the sense of, the economy. There's a lot more cautiousness on where people are spending. People still are spending, but there's just a lot more convincing, I suppose, to make sure people or to encourage people to spend with you. We've worked really hard in the last year to build our email list, our SMS list, and our audience pools on our website for retargeting. So all the strategies we've put in place will hopefully pay off for this November. The loyalty program revamped. We've just launched an app as well, which is a really great way to utilize push notifications, which are free to reach all our customers. So we've got a lot of channels in place. We've got a really strong creative asset from all our testing throughout the year. Creative is, the biggest lever on paid social these days. So even though it's more expensive to reach the same amount of customers than it was last year, I think there's still tools that people can utilize to put themselves in a good position, and people are still going to spend. So it's just about setting yourself up for success.
Love the positivity.
Yeah, I agree. I think, it's very interesting because I feel like what you're doing now, what you've done in the last year to really kind of plan and lead up to peak season is only going to set you up for greater success moving into the years to come, because what we have seen previously may or may not ever happen again. So I feel like we're now in the real world per se. It will alter again, possibly, but I guess this is more the realities of what it will be like moving forward. There's more brands, more competition, more of everything really. So, I feel like it's how you can really build those strategies to be really purposeful for your brand, align with your values, as we've said, and really connect to your consumer, and really allowing for that consistency and strategy across all your platforms, social, paid, organic, everything. So for this year, we've really kind of put a lot of investment into SEO and organic marketing through Google. And we've seen such a huge uplift, just really kind of focusing on, keywords and backlinks and anything that really is going to help with that organic search tool through Google. We've just found that has been such an enormous opportunity that was potentially lacking, where with paid, you're paying to be seen, where I guess organic, people on Google are in a really strong buying mood, and the I guess return on investment is super high. So if you can really leverage that, and it's more sits on a bottom of funnel perspective, because ultimately people are in a shopping buying mood to Google what products they're looking for, or if it's a skin type. So if you can really kind of grab that consumer's attention there and then, and be really high on the Google page list, like you're going to be able to get some amazing leads to your website. So that's one element. Another one, pushing more organic social through TikTok and our Instagram. I guess, Instagram is a lot harder to navigate than what it once was, where TikTok now is really kind of leading the charge. And we've just found that really kind of being super authentic, showing a bit more behind the scene, me speaking to camera, really building those connections deeper, has really seen enormous organic conversions. Like, we don't actually really spend a lot on TikTok because our organic has a higher converting rate, which is just crazy. So I think it's just, how you can really leverage and utilize your organic channels and that community with the support and assistance of paid. So bringing those two together and building out a really strong, viable plan that is going to have similar touch points, but have a point of difference for that particular platform. I think you can really grab an amazing number of customers that you won't have to pay top dollar for.
Yeah, I think just to summarize what Danny and Priscilla have said, and by the way, Danny, congratulations on the app launch. I did see that go live this morning, and I thought, how cool, what an awesome way to reach new customers. But I'm excited that the theme of Black Friday, Cyber Monday this year, I really feel will be creativity. It's going to be brands getting creative with how they message to customers, whether that be through loyalty programs. And as I mentioned before, I think we're going to see a rise of loyalty programs that are creative, that are fresh, that are new, that are exciting, right? For buyers such as myself and all of us on this call to go and interact with. And I think we're going to see brands getting creative with the way that they utilize different channels. So are you utilizing the YouTube channel for live shopping experiences? Are you utilizing TikTok to really get creative with how you go and message throughout this sale period? Like, I saw LSKD do a really cool TikTok that I think is going viral at the moment, where you've got a group of people that are leaning in to hear about LSKD's story. It was just a very quick 2-second snap of, wow, okay, I want to know. But they're just announcing a sale. But I did think it was a creative use of messaging. Priscilla, as you mentioned, Instagram, TikTok, even Pinterest. There's a lot of different social channels that I think brands will utilize to reach and capture new customers, and really think about the way that we utilize that product in the real world. So the theme, I think, from what I've taken from both Danny and Priscilla, is creativity. And I'm excited to see how brands utilize different messaging in different ways.
Amazing. And if I can put you all on the spot and ask for just one, because there have been so many amazing pieces of advice, but if you could prioritize the top one for other brands heading into peak season and next year, what would be your number one piece of advice?
I can't do one. Sorry, you go, Danny.
I would say, when you're working on your brand, it's really easy to kind of forget or get lost in all the different touch points. So I would create a brand new email address, go to your website with as fresh eyes as you can, place an order, and go through all the flows. What email are you getting? What SMS are you getting? Is it at the right time? And so on. What's the delivery experience like? All the different touch points, so that you can be armed with that information on what your customers are experiencing and what you can improve.
Love that.
Yeah, I was just going to, well, kind of on the same trajectory, but say, always have a strategy in place to grow your database, because your database is the golden nugget. Social media, digital marketing could potentially shut down one day. We never knew COVID happened. So, you don't know what the future holds, but your email list, your SMS list, anywhere that you can connect with your consumer organically will be something that is yours forever. So making sure that you really are focusing on growing those lists to be as purposeful and aligned as possible, and working on how you can grow those lists cost effectively. So whether like we've done giveaways with like-minded brands, but we do collaborator giveaways. So not only on the social platform, but then there's also a different element to get leads to the website, where you can actually sign up through SMS and email and get additional entries. So there's so many different unique ways that you can really, connect with potentially new audiences, but then get them into your funnel, which you then can send them flows. You then can, retarget them and really do that cost effectively. So definitely grow your data, your consumer list, I guess.
Yep. I don't have one, but Carmel, you know me, I could never just stick to one thing. So I'm just going to spitfire a few things. Capture your data, but in the right way. Don't be pressured to extreme discounting. Create experiences for your customers first and foremost. Have a mission and purpose and stick to it. And finally, the most important one, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things.
Nice. That was a nice list. Short and sweet.
You said one, I gave 5.
Yeah, but they were good. Awesome. So I really want to, since this is AWIE, let's talk about some awesome women-led brands. So could you tell me, what are some of your favorite women-led brands right now? And what do you think they're getting right? Obviously, aside from your own.
I think Conserving Beauty, so Tass, she actually used to work at Wellco, so big fan of her work. She has an amazing mission-led brand, really leading the waterless beauty movement. She has really great content. My Instagram, I always love seeing her videos. They're so engaging. So I think, she's killing it in that space.
Nice.
I love Conserving Beauty. I love it. The products are amazing too. So that's a great one.
Amazing.
So I think for me, and like I could go on about this all day, because I just have so much joy in finding women-led brands who are doing amazing things in the industry and creating just fantastic products. So I'll name a few. First of all, I think both Bang & Body and Wellco are up there in terms of women-led brands who are doing fantastic things. And I can't not help but shout you both out, because I'm personally a massive fan of both Wellco and Bang & Body products. So I think let's just leave it right there. I've got a very good friend who built a brand just based on women's, a very probably TMI women's products, which is UTIs. So Christine and Erica from Cronell, and they're really tackling a typically taboo topic head on with their products. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic brand and messaging. So I'm always big on talking about her. I like P Nation jacket right now. I love what Pip Edwards has built and is creating through P Nation. I love their products. I love their branding. Julie Mathers, I think, is another one that we have to talk about, who's really tackling sustainability head on and lives by it in terms of her brand and her mission. So there's so many that I think I could personally talk about, but those were a few that come to mind that are very mission-led, very purpose-driven, and are doing great things for the community as well as women in business. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely say like Julie Mathers as well, like her sustainability practices, like I really look up to her. Like for us as a brand, sustainability is a big part of our DNA and something that we've really evolved over the years. So, definitely look up to women who aspire to really help educate and empower other brands to really focus on alternate measures to really help, improve sustainability and I guess the world that we live in. I think there's just, oh goodness, there's just so many amazing. I think females in business is just incredible to see because we need more of us. We need to, you know, tip the scales, and we're doing that. And I couldn't be more proud. And I'm just such an advocate for women in business. Like I get DMs all the time for women being like, oh, I'm, you know, thinking about starting a brand. How did you start? Or, you know, what would be your top tips? And I just get so excited to be able to share my journey in the hopes to help them, to really give them what they need to feel confident that they, you know, they can do it. And it is really scary. So I think, you know, there is honestly too many to name, but I think anyone that really has a purpose and a passion and really wants to disrupt an industry who is female, like I'm cheering you on from the sidelines, like go get it, because you know, we need more of us. And, you know, there's one thing to do something to be able to say you've done it, but if you're doing it with purpose and heart and with values, and you have an underlying passion that is really going to provide solutions to problems, and you're really going to disrupt an industry that is telling you to be set in one way, like don't listen to them, like do something different and be proud of that and have confidence that whatever you set your mind to, you can achieve.
I know personally how much the three of you do for the community as well, such advocates for other females in business and just inspiring women leaders on your own. So thank you for all that you do as well, and for supporting AWIE. We're very appreciative.
Of course. Thank you.
And finally, one last question. What is something exciting happening in e-commerce right now, and why is it exciting you?
I can kick off with a story about what's exciting me. I went on a POS tour, and so for those of you who don't know, Shopify has released Shopify POS, which is just an in-store solution to capture payments. But I'm sure I don't need to school anyone on what POS is. And I went on a POS tour the other day, and the one thing that stood out to me was how brands are really utilizing in-store experiences to create unique experiences for their customers. And I think that is super exciting, right? To be able to interact and engage with your customers in a very meaningful and unique way. So we went to MAP, we went to July Luggage, we went to Ultra Football. I mean, I have no place in Ultra Football store, but my goodness, it was so cool to be there and to interact and engage with all of the unique experiences they were providing in store. So I'm really excited about the utilization of omni-channel, the utilization of creating unique experiences in stores, as I think that that'll become more and more prevalent and relevant over the coming years. So yeah, that's the number one thing for me.
Nice.
Mine touches on what Priscilla was talking about just before, which is TikTok. TikTok is in such an exciting space. You know, it's giving the feeling of Instagram 7 years ago. One piece of content that didn't take you that long to create, you know, could get 1 million views. So just really testing, learning, even from a paid point of view, it's a really exciting channel and a lot of opportunity. So really encourage everyone to just get on it, test it, don't be afraid of it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about TikTok and who the audience that are on there, but it is a really, really fruitful channel and there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, I like to say create with no fear, because I think that's where you can really push the boundaries on how you can really connect deeper with your community, and also give you the opportunity to try something new, like have fun, play, you know, especially on platforms, our social media platforms, they're our communities. They're going to be able to engage and tell you if they're liking it or not. And if you don't try something new, you're never going to know. So definitely stepping out of yourself, and we're going to be stepping out of ourselves creatively, but also how we can connect deeper and continue giving purposeful experiences digitally, because we are a digital brand. We definitely have plans to step outside of the digital world and create amazing activations for our community, because that's what we did pre-COVID, and we were really kind of the only beauty brand doing things like that. So we want to kind of go back to our roots there, and really drive those experiences to our, you know, for our community, and connect with them on a deeper level. Because if you understand and know who they are and what they want, you can then service them in a better way.
Love it. Thank you, guys. That's we've wrapped the webinar for today. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Like I said, thank you again so much for supporting AWIE. We really appreciate you. Thank you for your valuable insights. I'm sure the listeners have taken so much away from today. And good luck with peak season. I'm sure it'll be amazing for all of you. And thank you again.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks for
Thank you so much,
having me.
Carmel, for all that you do. See you.
Yes, you're amazing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rosa Hu, and I am the VP of Product Marketing at Yotpo. Joining me today is Judy Tran, Partner Marketing Manager at Meta. And we're going to do a deep dive into the world of social commerce. Judy, thank you so much for being with us today. We are so excited to have you. Let's kick things off very quick and simple with an introduction. Will you give us an overview of what you do at Meta?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I'm super excited to be here to talk about everything within the world of social commerce. I've been a partner marketing manager in the commerce org at Meta for the past 2 years. And I worked with partners within the commerce space like Yotpo to help drive value for businesses.
Amazing. And tell us about your career journey so far. Like, what led you to Meta and what do you love about working in the social commerce space?
Yeah, of course. So my career has not been the traditional route. I've touched a bit of everything from retail to banking. And when I learned about e-commerce, I fell in love with it. I realized the scaled impact I get to make as an individual was really meaningful. And the connection I get to build with thousands of people over social media gives me more purpose to build more awesome products. And I've been in the e-commerce world for the past 7 years. And not long before Meta, I've also launched my own business and solely leverage Instagram and Facebook to reach customers and grow. And fast forward to the present time at Meta, I'm very fortunate that I get to do exactly what I love to do in the space that I love to be in.
Wow, I really love that. I mean, you went from expert power user to official company advocate. That's a really great journey. Now, we all know that the way we shop today has changed dramatically over the past few years, especially as it relates to mobile commerce. And according to predictions from Insider Intelligence, mobile commerce will make up more than 44% of all e-commerce sales by 2025. So where do you see social commerce fitting into that big picture?
Yeah, so the way we shop has changed significantly in the last few years, right? With many people shopping on mobile devices and even buying something inspired by from social media platforms. This new way of shopping helps people connect with brands they love and also unlocks a new economic opportunities for businesses of all sizes. Social commerce is projected to bring $1.2 trillion by 2025. That's crazy. And we're seeing both large and small businesses invest in it. So nearly 50% of US social media users making purchases on social media platforms. And that's huge. At the end of the day, what really speaks and stands out to shoppers is more than just delivering great products. Shoppers, as one myself, want to understand the brand's story, their values, the mission, and the community, and ask if I want to be contributing and be part of it. So many of these brands do such a good job on social media displaying all of those key points.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And yeah, that's a huge number, $1.2 trillion. It's not a number that we use often in the trillions. Okay, social commerce isn't just about buying a product on a social media platform. It encompasses a lot of different experiences. What types of journeys are brands creating for their customers today on Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, Rosa, you're correct. Social commerce isn't just about buying a product on social media. It's so much more than that. Like I previously mentioned, it's about feeling connected with the stories, the values, and the communities, and many more. One of the ways brands show up on Facebook and Instagram is actually through shops on Facebook and Instagram. Shops are an easy way for brands to create a customized digital storefront. They give businesses the ability to inspire shoppers, connect with shoppers, and help them find the right products for them. So overall, shops on Facebook and Marketplace help brands unlock new ways to connect and engage with shoppers. People can access shops from different channels like Facebook page, Instagram profile, post with tag products from the community, creators or sellers, and in different channels such as feed, story, live, and the newest one, Reels.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all in one. And we really do live it and breathe it every day. I feel like daily I'm on my phone and like I'm looking at the community created by brands and I'm shopping on their products and I go straight to their pages. I think it's a wonderful experience for consumers out there. So as social commerce continues to grow and brands need to work harder to stand out from their competition, what are the best ways they can like cut through that noise and get all of their products out there?
I would say building awareness, trust, and connection with the shopper is critical for any brand, big or small. The potential for exposure across the audience on Facebook and Instagram is huge. Being able to build communities by connecting and interacting with shoppers in a natural way is one way to stand out. And if you're able to organically connect people with other people, brands, and products they love and care about, you're creating a very smooth and seamless commerce experience for all of them. The more a business is able to do this and build communities, the better chances they have at holding people's attention and encourage them to convert.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's that authenticity of like being really connected to your consumers and really making them feel like they're part of your brand ethos and they connect with you on a deeper level that helps brands, you know, with social commerce. So the next question is really top of mind for many, many brands today, and it's definitely something they feel very challenged by. So for brands that are selling on Facebook and Instagram and they want to run paid ads to support their shops, can you recommend any strategies for mitigating the impact of privacy changes?
Yeah, so how data fuels advertising is changing. Policies are giving people more options to limit how their data is shared with businesses, but people are still spending a lot of time on the internet and on meta platforms. So today, people experience online advertising that feels really personal to them. That personalization is important. So today, people experience online advertising that feels personal to them. That personalization is possible thanks to data and machine learning, which help ensure people to receive the most relevant message at the right time on their path to purchase. While it's crucial to have a big presence on Facebook and Instagram for your business, personalized ads can help reach even more interested customers by competing in an ad auction. So an ad auctions are informed by how relevant the ads are based on a person's preference, interests, and the content they've been engaging with. So to throw numbers out, 62% of small businesses said that personalized ads were important to reducing overall advertising costs. And 76% of small businesses using personalized ads reported that they were effective in finding new customers for their business. So if you want to learn more about personalized ads through Facebook, you can access it at facebook.com/ads. and implement it as a part of your scale marketing strategy to maximize sales.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I think that is very helpful. I think it is something that is very much top of minds, right? It really is important that the ads that we see are personalized to our liking, to our taste, to our preferences, and that way, you know, that's how you really get people to join your community. I discover so many brands through ads, I have to say. So thank you for that. And what do you see as the future of social commerce? Like, what do you see 5 years down the line, let's say?
Ooh, okay. Let me see, how should I react to that? Okay. Ooh, Rosa, great question. So throughout the history of commerce, right, the biggest opportunity has always been to help people discover and byproducts, which is how the first markets developed, leading to today's department stores and mall and such. So when the internet took hold, search became the game changer to satisfy consumer demand. So in today's world, marketers are using modern tools like AI, machine learning, and creativity to connect the dots between customers and their products to grow. And brands that enable more agile way of working have demonstrated that they are well equipped to adapt strategies and meet ever-changing needs of customers by experimenting different future-facing technologies. Getting started with the first few takeaways. The first one being embracing the first-party data. With this, people are able to share across CRM, their website, and loyalty and engagement program with marketing automations tools and machine learning to personalize the customer experience and optimize marketing performance. And the second one is creative will continue to be key. Successful brands are embracing a variety of channels, creative formats, and concepts to get their message across and out. These brands understand the creatives that can make an impact on reach, build brands love, and when done well, they can even drive media costs down. And the third one is being seamlessness is going to be essential. Brands understand that every touch point can lead to a loyal customer. So they optimize the customer experiences in real time, creating more fluid experiences on web, app, or even in the store. So when they remove friction, the customer can customers can move from discovery to purchase seamlessly. And lastly, measure to iterate and innovate. Great marketers are curious and hold themselves accountable to continuous improvement. So they embrace the measurement tools to test and learn and continue testing. People will continue to seek shopping experience that inspire, engage, and offer connection and access. So at Meta, we build technologies based on how people want to connect and have built one of the most powerful engines for discovery in history. Across Meta Technologies, 3.6 billion people are connected in vast ecosystem of their favorite brands, people, groups, creator, businesses, and every community in between.
I love that, Judy. There were 5 amazing takeaways. I mean, definitely the loyal customer, creating a loyal customer with lots of touch points resonates with me a lot, especially just coming from my Yotpo perspective. But okay, so let's jump into how some brands are approaching social commerce in an innovative way. Do you have any examples that are really stand out that you can share with us?
So yeah, of course, different brands approach social commerce differently, but there are 3 key focus areas that are top priorities for them. The first one being focus on building awareness. Brands use social media like Facebook and Instagram to reach new audiences on multiple channels. And then the second one is community. Community is key, so stay active on social media channels, engaging with shoppers on your store, and responding to reviews really help build that community. And third, build trust with social proof. Getting in front of shoppers on social media while leveraging social proof can really help brands gain trust. And with that being said, I can share some of the examples that brands are doing today to build awareness. One of the examples that I like to share is brands like Refinery29 really leverage Instagram stories and especially Reels to share their stories to their readers in a very engaging way. They're laser focused on crafting an authentic message, partner with talents from whether it's collaborating with other brands or even within their company, and edit their clips with stickers, effects for a fun, polished look to really reel people in. And for brands who have shops on Facebook and Instagram, they're making the most of their shop during this holiday, which can really help them reach new customers. And there are a couple key takeaways that I would like to share as well. So the first one being organize catalogs into categories and create a collection, so making browsing experience easier. And the second one is create a collection for different types of shoppers to help expand the reach for new sets of customers. And third, speaking of collection, highlight your best sellers in a collection to drive popular must-have products. And the fourth one is write really fun and detailed description for your products to get your shoppers really excited about purchasing. And lastly, share customer reviews. And if you have not synced your Yotpo reviews to shops already, now's the best time to do so, and to build that trust and make the decisions process much simpler. There's so many more examples that we see brands are doing to be creative and stand out. So always check in with us for more tips and best practices, along with case studies on facebook.com/business.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Judy. I feel like, especially the adding reviews on, I do think it's a game changer in terms of being able to see what other customers have to say about products right there on the site. So you don't need to leave before like making the decision to buy, right? So Judy, thank you so much for being here with us today. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you. And I learned so much from an amazing woman such as yourself, which is really what AWIE is all about. I got a lot out of the session. I'm sure everyone watching did as well. We'll continue this conversation on the AWIE community on Slack, so please join us there. And then up next is our keynote speaker, Danielle Kayambe, CEO and founder of Greyfire Impact. And she'll be talking about the innovation gap in product design and why bridging that is the next big thing. Over to you, Danielle.
Hello, I'm Danielle Kayambe, and I'm excited to be presenting today's keynote on women and the future of innovation. I am a serial entrepreneur, and I focus on women, social impact, and innovation. My work has spanned from working early on in my career on Wall Street to doing social impact work throughout Africa and with digital entrepreneurs there. I also have been an advisor for venture capital and family offices, helping them understand how to invest in women and underrepresented founders. And most recently, I've been focused on building brands, building businesses for major global brands. A few years ago, I wrote an article called The Silent Rise of the Female-Driven Economy. It was a white paper that I thought was like a little bit more boring and academic, but it really resonated with a lot of people. And what I talked about in this article was that as women, almost all the products and items we purchase are created, designed, built, and sold to us by men. And this is something that I call coded patriarchy. Now, I'm going to give some examples just to make it a little bit more clear what I mean. So, doors are a very simple example that most women can understand. So doors are actually designed for the tensile strength of an average man, and that's defined as 6 foot, 200 pounds. So as a woman, if you're going in and out of buildings, you might notice how heavy the doors are. I know that as an adult woman, I've had to use my full physical body weight to actually push open revolving doors in buildings because that's how heavy they actually are. Another great example is mobile phones. So mobile phones are actually designed for men to use one-handed and fit in their pockets. And so if you're a woman, believe it or not, our hands on average are about 2 to 3 centimeters shorter. And so we drop these phones more, we break them more. And as a result, we have cracked phones and we buy rings and knobs and hooks to put on the back of our phones to actually make it easier for us to use them without dropping them and without getting carpal tunnel. So I'm sure a lot of you have those little rings on the back of your phone. Another really simple example is cars. So I'm going to ask you to, if you can, drop into the chat, what is the first thing you do when you get into a car? If you can think about that. So a lot of you are probably thinking that you adjust your seat, you adjust your mirror, you turn on the car, you put on your seatbelt, but none of that is actually true. the first thing that women do when they get into a car is they put their purse down. So one of the things that we never think about, right, is the fact that as women, we carry our purses everywhere. And even though the automotive industry knows that we are half of the buying population for this product, they have not added a purse holder to any of the cars, not even in minivans, which you would think the majority are primarily driven by moms, right? So yes, so even as women, we don't even think about the fact that, hey, this really simple fix is not in all of these vehicles. Another really simple example is health trackers. So many companies have come out with health trackers over the last 10 years. It's a huge industry, tens and tens of billions of dollars, and not one of them had a period tracker at launch. Now, the thing that's so strange to me about that is that in the health and digital space, valuation is all based on engagement, right? How we can get customers to come back, to engage, to share their information or their data. And you would think that something as simple as a period, which gives every woman an incentive to come back to your platform, engage and track it, is something that you would build in. And so it seems so intuitive, but it took most of them 4 to 5 years to actually get it integrated. One more example is virtual reality. So virtual reality is something that I'm not sure how many of you have actually tried yet, but data actually shows that about 25% of men experience some nausea when they try it, but about 75% of women feel nauseous when they use virtual reality. And the reason is something called postural sway. And it just simply means that men and women have a different center of gravity. Women may tend to be shorter, lower to the ground. And because of that, the way they interact with the perspectives in the digital space actually changes. A digital space actually changes. And so imagine trying to launch a new technology and scale an entire virtual ecosystem when 50% of your customers actually get physically ill. Why wouldn't you solve for that? So all these examples I'm talking about, what I'm pointing out are these everyday pain points, right? So every day as you have an interaction with a poorly designed product or service, it actually causes you to experience pain points. And to me, pain points actually represent millions of pieces of lost data that we can actually use to drive better innovation and better product development. So each pain point is actually a multi-million-dollar business opportunity. Now, we all know that when it comes to business, men dominate the business of business. So women overall have less access to capital. Women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding, and fewer than 100 global funds are run by women out of a total of 100,000. More shockingly, out of 1,500 S&P CEOs, there are fewer female CEOs than there are CEOs named John. However, there's a total disconnect and misalignment because women control 85% of consumer spending, yet as we just saw, they receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. That means that 98% of innovation is driven by men. This is completely out of sync. That makes me think that women are actually currently the largest underserved global market because of this disconnection. And that leads to my interest in what I call women-centered innovation. And we've seen a huge wave of companies that are centered and rooted in this. And what I define as women-centered innovation is innovation that's by women, but it's either innovation for her or for everyone. And this includes a ton of companies that you're familiar with. Companies like Thinx and The Honest Company, The Wing and Glossier, Rent the Runway, Third Love, and I'll dive into some of these. So let's start with Thinx. I'm sure a lot of you have seen their ads, their Broadway or their MTA campaigns in the subways in New York, or even use their products. And so what Thinx is they actually have created underwear for women with periods. And what they did is they actually took materials that existed. So if you are a skier, like I am, or you do any kind of outdoor sports, you know that there's so much gear. And that gear consists of layers of different materials that do things like moisture management, sweat absorption, sweat wicking, odor absorption. And Thinx basically took all these materials and combined them into a solution that works for menstruation. So just imagine, none of these are new materials. They've existed for, in some cases, 20 or 30 years, but you've only had male engineers at the table who haven't had to experience the challenges that women go through. So it never occurred to any of the men at the table that this was a completely new industry. And now the whole period underwear market is valued at like $40 billion. So it's a massive market and a massive opportunity that wasn't even there 10 years ago. Another fantastic example is Third Love. So Third Love is a company that's focused on making lingerie for real women, as opposed to other companies we know like Victoria's Secret. And what they actually started with was gathering over 600 million data points from real women with real bodies. And that got them to create really fantastic solutions for those customers. So they came up with things like half cup sizes, mismatched breasts. So some people have different size, and also different shades of nude, right? So typically in the past, underwear came in a peachy beige, and then black, and then gray. And so they've done this amazing job of making sure that all women have access to underwear that works for their body in their skin tone. Fenty is another incredible brand in the makeup space that really revolutionized how we think about skin tones. And so before Fenty came along, all the major brands had about 20 colors, and they just said, hey, there's just not demand for more shades. And Rihanna said, that's ridiculous. And she made, I believe it was 40 and up to 50 shades. And the demand was so huge that Fenty became one of the top 3 selling makeup brands, and is one of the most profitable brands, even outselling Kim Kardashian's line and Kylie's line as well. So Fenty's makeup line is completely revolutionary, and it's also forced all the other makeup brands in the industry to start meeting customer needs and offer more shades. So it's led to more inclusion and more diversity across that industry. Another fantastic example is Billie. So Billie is one of the first women's razors companies in over 100 years. And it's the first to acknowledge that women have body hair. We've all seen the razor commercials for men, and they really emphasize how close a shave it gets to the hair. We've all seen those ads and commercials, but when you see an ad for women, the women are all completely waxed, and they have like pictures of trees, and then women, I don't know, on the beach or riding horses, and it just absolutely makes no sense And Billy is actually the first company to show body hair on real women, not just on their head and not just their eyebrows. So it's been incredibly revolutionary. And they were so successful. They raised $25 million Series A in less than 18 months of being in business. So all of these companies, obviously, completely game changing. And so when I look to the future, I love to share this quote by Steve Jobs, and it's that everything around you that you call life was made up by people who were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And once you learn that, you will never be the same. And as women, so often we are given products and services and we use them even though we're uncomfortable. But what I want to remind you is that as a woman, every pain point you've experienced walking through your daily life is an empire building business idea that's never occurred to not one of the Fortune 500 CEOs that's named John, Mark, or James. So I hope you take this inspiration and you go and you build, because I absolutely want to live in a world full of businesses and products made by women just like you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. And thanks so much to all the women who shared their insights with us today, and to everyone who tuned in. If you haven't yet, join us on Slack where we'll be keeping this conversation going. You can see the link in the chat. And if you want to talk about the event on social, please use the hashtag Women in Ecom with 2 M's. And you can tag us too at Women in Ecom and at Yotpo. We'll be resharing your content all day. And finally, we'll be sending the link to this recording to everyone who registered so you can see anything you missed and share it with your colleagues. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you at the next AWIE Online.